What is up, guys? It is your boy Royal Mech, and today we got a ban list information. So we're gonna get into this ban list. There was also a producer letter along with this ban list to explain more in depth why things were hit. For those who are uninformed about the cards, I will also go into, after reading the description, about what the card does, so you can get a better idea of what along the side of also why this was hit. So we'll have all the information possible about the cards in general. From what I understand, there's about 5 cards. So we're gonna look and see what happened to these 5 cards and just get it kicking. So let's go ahead into the new ban list, and away we go. And it does show it's taking effect March 1st. So won't be during, will be after that. So people will get at least one appropriate regional to run these cards at full strength before they get shut down to proceed further. First up, we have the BT14 Bukamon. Alright. So let's see what they said, the reason for its restriction, and then we'll go into what the card does. Well, actually, no, we'll do it the other way. We're going to go in what the card does before we go into why it was hit. So let's go over to the dev. Alright, so first up, we have the Bukamon. This is actually the most recent Bukamon that we just got in Blast Days. So this is getting a hit. What does it do? Well, it has the inheritable effect. During your turn, while your opponent has no Digimon with equal or more Digivolution cards than this Digimon, gain jamming. Really easy effect to meet. So let's see why this egg is on the list and what happened to it. Shall we? So it says here, because this card grants jamming by fulfilling an easy condition, it offers greater consistency than other blue Digi-Egg cards that are more specialized for different blue deck playstyles. As a result, there is little reason for blue decks to use any other card than this one. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1. So, English, and for those who don't understand the legalese behind this, they hit it to 1 because everybody's running it and there's no deck viability for the egg. Pretty simple reason. I do 100% agree. Put it to 1. That jamming is really free. And it's a generic, just a generic card. So yeah, put it to 1. It's fine. It's not locked behind any other effect. It's just your opponent doesn't have to have a Digimon on board and jamming. So yeah, makes sense to hit at 1. Next card. Wow. So they went ahead and pre-hit the Pokemon. So Pokemon's already been being hit. Let's go into what he does, and then we'll see if what the reason they hit it bounces out. A Pokemon is a play cost 15k DP, level 7 that can digivolve off of blue, purple, black, and green for the Digivolution cost of 6. It has the ability, when this card would be played, by placing up to 3 cards from your with Dark Master trait and different names from your battle area or trash under this Digimon, reduce the play cost by 4 for each card. So if you meet the requirement of 3 Dark Masters, this is played for 3. That's already scary, and that's really simple to meet because most of this deck is played around purple. This then gives us the end of effect. This also has the end of turn effect once per turn by placing a level 6 or lower card, a level 6 or lower card from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card. Activate one of the on-play effects of the card placed by this Digimon effect. Then for each level 6 card in this Digimon's Digivolution source, trash the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. So if done right at full strength, you're getting rid of 8 cards off the top of their deck after playing this. Okay, and that just continues. because you get to keep adding. So it's going to just sort of spiral out of control. Let's go into then seeing why this card had to get hit. If you don't follow the Japanese format, don't worry. We're going to get into why really quick. So Pokemon was hit for the following reason. If you can send cards with Dark Master trait to the trash even once, this card can be played many times easily and for a low cost depending on the number of copies. Which combined with such cards as the BT13 Craniamon. This is the Craniamon that is part of the Royal Knight deck with Yggdrasil. Makes it extremely difficult to deal with, meaning because this can play on-play effects from a card they add, you make it almost impossible for this card to die. In addition, there is no cost to activating the deck trashing effect, and the number of cards trashed at a time is considerable, making it difficult to deal with for decks that cannot utilize the trash. So this card limits the number of deck types that can compete in the environment. Meaning, this card is too much of a gatekeeper to allow for variety in decks and tournament play. This card pretty much says this card existing means you better be playing purple. Let's make it short. It's telling you if you're not playing purple, just give up. You're gonna die. For this reason, for the above reason, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck. Good hit. Good choice. I would have semi-limited, in my opinion, to put it just at 2. So it is still visible, but it's not sitting there as a complete utter menace. So, another good hit. What is the next one? Oh, they went for the EX5 Gabumon X. Let's go into what he does. Gabumon X. He is a level 3 play cost, 2000 DP, can evolve off a purple or blue Digimon for 1. However, he can circumvent this by digivolving off a Sunamon or a Gabumon for 0 cost. He has the on-play ability, when digivolving effect. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 2 cards with Garurumon or X antibody in their names from among them to your hand. Return the rest to the bottom of your deck. If you added a card, trash 1 card in your hand. Meaning, this card literally said, look at 4, grab 2. It could be any good combination of Garurumons or a X antibody. So you just got to +2, and then if you added the 2, you get to discard a card to gain a memory. The purple support for the Garurumon line really values discarding, and you gain memory from it. So, on its own, good for the archetype, but this is an on-play that is not restricted to... That's not restricted to archetype base when it comes to overall effects, because this just helps spiral milling and digging through your deck a lot in just general for other decks. So, and primarily because originally you were playing almost an entire Gabumon package on the lower end. So this was always going to be going off with the Gabumon and Garurumon line in the middle range. Now, on to its inheritable. It is all turns once per turn when this Digimon with Garurumon or Omnimon in its name would be deleted by battle by returning 2 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash to the bottom of the deck, prevent deletion. Now, to me, his protection effect is a lot more broken than what the original one was, where you get rid of 2 sources in Evo to keep it from dying. This is almost impossible to miss. This is impossible to miss. And it can put back anything. It just doesn't allow for eggs. So you're not missing anything. By the passage of just the game, you'll be able to constantly protect this Digimon. So, that's... Okay, so, really strong card. Looks viable, reasons to kill. So, what did they say the reason behind it was? In a Garurumon deck, this card offers both higher consistency, true, and speed than other cards. 100% true. In addition, this card's inherited effect grants a protection effect that makes it difficult for the opponent to respond from the beginning of the game. Exactly. As a result, there is little reason to use other cards, because the importance of this one card is so great. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck. AKA, they said because this pretty much meets the same requirement as the Greymon X card, we're gonna hit it because easy protection. We kind of want to get out the way, right? So makes sense. Good hit. Good for them. I would more have, and personally, choice restricted. Let the archetype keep it, but don't let it be easily accessible for non-archetype. Right? On to the next card. We have the EX5 Garurumon X. Okay, let's see what this does. Because knowing what these cards do play a factor in to see if they made a good choice. So, in regards to the Garurumon, he is a level 4. Can be played for 6 cost. Digivolves off of blue and purple Digimon for 3. 6k DP. Same stat line as the black and red Greymon X. Pretty much all the way through. It has the Digivolution shortcut of on Garurumon and Digivolves for 0. Really good. But it has the on Digivolving effect. You may draw 2 cards. Then you draw 2 cards, then trash 2 cards from your hand. If Garurumon or X antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, gain a memory. Okay, so another part of the Garurumon line X line that gains memory for discard. That already works with what the purple starter deck for Garurumon said they were going to start being able to do. So once again, consistency and speed. That already makes it a reason to get hit. Then it has the Inheritable, which is the exact same effect as the Gabumon X. So, not on top of more deck filtering, this also has the same protection ability. So once again, another easy protection that you'll never miss. Makes sense immediately why it's there. Now, we'll see what their explanation was for it here. And remember, guys, we still have a letter to read that explains more. This card alone allows altering one's hand to a great degree, and it offers greater consistency than is reasonable for decks that can use it. In addition, this card can be used by not only Garurumon decks, but also decks that utilize the trash. As a result, there is little reason to use other cards, because the importance of this one is so great. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to one per deck. So once again, greatly increases consistency, and it's not locked behind archetype. So they said no. The main reason you're using it, its main effect, is the reason you're probably using it the majority of the time. Not restricted behind at all. So yeah, we're getting rid of it. So another card that deals with trash, they hit. Purple is really strong in trash. Apoclymon's played mainly with a purple base to use trash. This also explains why they hit the Gabumons last month, as well as the Eismons as well. Why those guys got hit. So, let's go on to the next card. Then they also seem to have hit the EX5 Anubismon. Let's go ahead and look into this card too. So, Anubismon is a level 6, 12 play cost Digivolves for 4 off of purple, 12k DP. It has the on Digivolving and main phase effect. Once per turn, you may trash up to 3 cards from your hand. Then play 1 purple Digimon card from your trash for the cost. When it would be played by this effect, reduce the play cost by 3 for each card. Reduce the play cost by 3. Now, for each card trashed by this effect, further reduce it by 1. Meaning, you get to play pretty much a level 6 cost card for free, and can go from there. For free, or you can play a level 5 for a heavily reduced cost. So you're probably paying it for the level of a cost of a rookie. This already explains why you would want to hit this a little bit. But I understand purple has been the face of only one meta. They rarely show meta relevance, but their whole color is really generic. So it's kind of hard to just let them run rampant, and I do feel bad for them. But then this has the other effect during your turn. When your Digimon is played by an effect, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Okay, So now you're also saying I get to kill their board if a Digimon is played. And this is not once per turn. So any other way purple brings cards back on board, that can cause a trigger. Oh boy, purple's able to keep doing this. And then if no Digimon was deleted by effect, you get to draw a card. So you have a card that could pretty much spam anybody and do craziness. Right? And to me, I would have let this stay at 4. I would hit Cerberusmon. I would have hit the Cerberusmon combo. But they did not. So this deck with Cerberusmon is just going to be a nuisance. Because it's pretty much going to wipe your board with a Cerberusmon combo. But now that we see why it was hit, now we see its card play, which kind of makes it viable why it got hit. Let's read why they say it got hit. This card has high board retention and control due to its continuous play and removal effects. Yep. Which greatly improves the consistency and speed of the deck. When combined with several other existing cards, there are very few deck types that can handle this speed, and currently this card reduces the space for choosing other deck themes with similar board expansion effects, limiting the diversity of decks you can use. For the above reasons, we decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck. Meaning, this card really locks down what you're playing in purple. And you're only going to be playing specific cards for this deck. You're not playing anything new. And because it doesn't allow for viability, they need to hit it somewhere. Pretty sound. Pretty sound reasoning. I don't disagree. Because purple does have a lot of decks cards that can just combo loop. And this card with, once again, the Cerberusmon combo is nuts. Now, speaking of the Cerberusmon combo, let me go ahead and, just for a little side tangent, we'll go ahead and pull up the Cerberusmon combo, right? Because this is kind of important to understand why part of this would be a good reason to hit Anubis, because you have the Cerberusmon combo. He has the effect on deletion, trigger, draw 2 cards, then trash 1 card in your hand. Okay, not that bad, but look at his play cost. He has a 6 cost to play on his turn, which means he, with Anubis, can get looped to be played for free. Right? Now, why is this important? It's because of his other stage, which is the Cerberusmon Werewolf mode. It has Rush with the on-play ability of you may delete one of your Cerberusmon to gain 9 memory. AKA meaning you can then go from a Cerberusmon for free, draw 2 cards, trash a card, to then play this for free after killing the Cerberus. And just plussing, because then your turn gets to stay. So these are all sound reasons. And then on top of that, now we got the new Cerberusmon from... We got this new Cerberusmon that showed up from... That's going to be in BT16, where on play and when Digivolve, you may return 1 Digimon card with the Dark Animal or Shaman trait from the trash to hand. AKA, you can put... This is going to replace the original Cerberus, which will then allow the loop to continue forever. And then it has an inheritable, which is new, that during your turn, once per turn, when an effect plays one of your Digimon gains Rush. So this with Anubis already causes more issues. And this is in 16. So literally 2 to 3 sets later, Anubis gains support that just validates this. And then you have the Cerberusmon X that has the ability. It can Digivolve with something with Cerberusmon in name without X antibody trait for 0 cost, which the on play you may play 1 level 3 purple Digimon card from your trash without paying the cost. So now you can play a Cerberusmon. This future support is helps make a preemptive reason why this got hit. Now you have a new Cerberusmon X, which will say on play, you get to say, I'm going to play a free level 3, because you can play this off effect and get something cool and still trigger a line, which means you're killing 2 cards with 1 stone. Trash without paying the cost. Awesome. And then when digivolving, draw 1, then trash 1 card in your hand. If a card with Cerberusmon in its name or X antibody is in this Digimon Digivolution cards, activate its on-play effect. So now you get to do both of these and just be crazy, because you don't even have to have a level 3 purple Digimon in trash yet. You could first digivolve, draw a card, trash the level 3, and then call it. And just get to go ham. Right? And then on top of that, it also has an inheritable once per turn. Well, when attacking, by deleting one of your other Digimon, unsuspend this card. Right? So these new cards just immediately buff this. So that in itself just makes things already crazy. Now, that, in opinion, I see this more as a preemptive hit because of 16. Because Japan got the same list we did for this one. This is to prevent 16 from getting out of control, because Cerberusmon is a very big sleeper card that doesn't get any attention paid, and Purple likes to use this engine a lot. It gets to, with Anubis, this engine gets to go crazy. But now we got one last thing to look into today, and that is actually the letter. Now, we got this full letter, because it also is talking about the next 2 sets for EX5 and the EX5 and the BT15 support and what things are being added. But what we really care about is the restriction list and the reason why they did the changes. All right, let's get into this. We're almost actually done. Revisions to the restricted cards. Due to the unique circumstances this time, we would also like to explain the ban/restriction revisions announced today. First, please note that our aim is to keep the gameplay environment healthy and facilitate a diverse competitive metagame. Okay. On this part, by hitting cards, you do help generate that. However, every out of all the colors we have, only 2 colors have an issue with being diverse and still being viable, and that's black and red, because they are pretty much locked down to archetype specifics. And then if their archetype's too strong, they get hit, and then the color doesn't really have anything else to use. So makes sense, but your other 3 other colors, blue, yellow, purple, and green, are all generic cards. So they're not archetype locked, which then allows them to do whatever they want to do. And they can just use generic support and keep going. So it doesn't completely allow for diversity when two of your colors are kind of locked down behind an archetype. Regarding the decision to ban or restrict cards from the unreleased English version of products EX05 and BT15, please understand we gave it a lot of consideration. We decided it was the best choice after carefully considering the degree to which it affected the tournament situation in Japan, and our goal aiming for a healthy environment for players worldwide. I'm really glad they did look at Japan when they made this decision. Because in Japan, Anubismon and Apocalypmon are literally the best 2 decks in the format, and they're considered tier 0. Because if you're not playing them, you're not winning. Garurumon slightly scoots in a little bit later, but he's considered tier 1, and Beelstar is a tier 1, but she got hit because they hit everything around it. But in general, they hit these because the tournament, main reason, the tournament situation was just bad. Now, in regards to the Bukamon, the Gabumon X, and the Garurumon X, why they were restricted to 1 is because They greatly stabilize the movement of decks that use them, decreasing the diversity of cards used and narrowing the current state of enjoying the Digimon card game, which is the element of being able to play with decks of many concepts. Especially for EX5's Gabumon X and EX5's Garurumon X, in addition to increasing stability, they dramatically strengthen the power of decks that utilize the trash. What they're saying pretty much is these decks, because they're so good at drawing and then they trashing cards, they could allow you to just use the trash to do whatever you want to do, and it makes things difficult. Now, in regards to the Anubis and the Apocalypse restriction, they said this: Anubis Mon can continue to utilize the trash unless directly interfered with, allowing for the repeated appearance of powerful purple Digimon cards. This makes it highly effective in maintaining its effects in the battle area, making it a powerful, challenging to handle card. AKA, like I said, this card allows you to recur your level 5s and lower to keep going back up for not almost no cost, and to keeping your process going. And that is really hard to help because you can go wide. If you have the memory, you can get a sick level 5 back from the trash to call, then revolve it to another 6. If you have it to be another Anubis, that's 2 Anubis on board, and now you're just dealing with 2 deletions for every call. That's not fun. Now, for Apocalypse, they said this: Apocalypse is a difficult card to counter as it can repeatedly be played at a low cost when multiple types of cards with the Dark Masters trait are in the trash. Moreover, if you cannot remove the first instance of this card that has been played, another Apocalypse can be easily played, creating no way to stop consecutive trashing of cards from the deck, and the total amount of cards trashed from the deck must be restrained. From a competitive, comprehensive perspective, it was necessary to limit the frequency of this card's appearance. Makes sense. Now, since Anubismon and Apocalypse are both high rarity cards, we had many discussions about how to handle the situation. However, in the end, when considering the possibility that these 2 cards could be further strengthened with the inclusion of new cards with the Dark Master trait in the future, and which would lead to the need to improve the environment by designating other cards as restricted or banned, we decided to directly restrict to one only these 2 cards. Like I mentioned with the Cerberusmon support, had Anubis stayed, the Cerberusmon support in 16 would have just made this go more crazier. And so, instead of having to come back every set to keep hitting more purple cards or cards that help this card specifically, they said just touch the card. Now let's go into a little more. Most of the cards specified as restricted cards this time are cards that utilize the trash, so there has also been an increase in decks that frequently use the trash. In addition to the above reasons, the complexity of movements also increases due to the need to confirm more locations. This might raise the hurdle for those who say, I want to try the Digimon card game, and make the game seem difficult to new users. To ensure that everyone can enjoy the Digimon card game with peace of mind, we decided it necessary to significantly restrict these types of cards. Makes sense. But in a good community, they'll already express the skills you need to start remembering and learning. For these reasons, we chose to revise the banned and restricted cards and add these 5 cards. Now, I did read this letter a little ahead of time so I can get an idea what we're coming to. Now, here's their portion on overall their feelings on having to ban cards ahead of its release. They said this: regarding this revision, we sincerely apologize for causing concerns by designating many cards as banned and restricted at once, and that this decision comes before the release for those playing the English version. We would also like to apologize that our development team inaccurately estimated the effect of these cards, which led to a short span between release and banning and restricting. Of course, we aim to create products that will not require adjustments through banned and restricted cards, and thank you for your understanding when such action is necessary to provide a with such action is necessary to provide a better game environment. I would honestly just end at necessary. We hope that you will also kindly understand that for cards judged to have a strong impact on the environment, there may be additions to the list of banner restricted cards regardless of the release or reprint timing. AKA, they're saying if we make a card, if we finish a card and we see it's being too big of a problem in tournament play, we're going to definitely get after it as soon as possible. Which I 100% agree with. But that just means your designers need to play more of the game to get understanding of card interactions. Now, they also say this, thank you for your understanding, the Digimon card game team. Well, with that being said, I am actually kind of glad. They were preemptive from turning BT15 into BT4 again. And for those of you who are new, BT4 was the time when we got the original Lord Knight yellow card. It had a situation where almost identical to a Pokemon and Anubismon is going to happen for like a week or two, where if you were not playing Lord Knight, you might as well have just scooped and not played and replayed competitive, because it was that strong, that dominating, and that direct of a deck that there was nothing else you could do. They are preemptively trying to stop that with these hits. And so I 100% give it a round of applause to Bandai for noticing ahead of time by looking at how it's affected JP on what to do. So they did go ahead, hit the card, and called it a day. Hit the cards required and call it a day. Now, they did hit more purple, and I do feel bad for you purple players who purple rarely gets an opportunity to be the deck. And I 100% believe every color at some point should get the opportunity to be the deck. But not at the expense of being tier 0. Right? Not at the effect of being tier 0. So that played a factor into the hits. They couldn't risk 2 tier 0 decks existing at full strength just running through everybody. Now people are going to get the chance to play it at least during regional, during Nats. So Nats you still get to do it, but after Nats, locally you're not going to have that heavy of a hand on people, which is fair. And then if you look further ahead, especially with Anubis, it still has the Cerberus line, and that gets to just be extra dangerous. So once again, applaud to you, Bandai, on hitting things early. So, guys, that's actually been the ban list. That was also the notes, why they hit it. They actually explained pretty well, and with the info of what the cards do, honestly, their decisions were fair. The only thing it's hurting is purple. It honestly just hurts the feeling of people who main purple. It hurts them emotionally because now their deck can't be the best deck of the color. But it's still playable. It's just not the best color. It's not the best deck anymore. But we'll see what comes out of it. Garurumon's still luckily in play. It can still be used. It just lost access to its newest 2 level 3 and 4 in the X line, but you still have your original ones. And the color is now more tribal with the all subtext of you can digivolve it off a card with Agumon and Garurumon's in Gabumon and Garurumon in name, so you can still get the line up, still have some of the protections, but it's not as easily abused. And yeah, so we'll definitely see how the format plays out now with these hits, but I might even do a deck. We might even do a rating it with a tier list on that in itself, but we'll have to just wait and see at this point. This goes into effect March, so you get it through Nats to play it at full strength, and then you lose it. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. We do have one little bit of information before we go. If you guys have noticed, we do have a new shirt. The Royal Mech channel has its first form of merch. Let me show you. Yeah. Dragon merch. This is our new dragon. New merch. All day. There will be a link in the description to the Teespring store where you can get your own shirt if you wish to support the channel. Also, guys, about 99% of you are not subscribed who love to watch the channel. It'll be a great big help if you guys do subscribe to help push the channel more, so the algorithm can help produce the channel more, and we can be able to do more with the channel. On top of that, there's nothing more. We are going to go back into doing Vanguard content. I actually did recently come back from BCS 2023 Anaheim. I did experience both days. I went through standard and I did premium. So we could definitely talk about that I'll definitely talk about it in another video about my experience with going to regional, how everything was handled, how format felt like it was going, and all the above. I do hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.